muted. I caught myself muted that time. Clicked the button again. Didn't fucking do anything.
I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to see how long it was going to last.
Hello, welcome to Boropod. My name is Nate. I am back after a couple of weeks on the old treatment table. I'm not 100%, but we're down to bare bones, so we've wheeled my dusty old corpse out. You've heard him already. Greg's here. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. How's it going? I mean, I'm glad you're feeling better, obviously. But if I'm the only one who's match fit, then this is going to be a struggle.
Yeah. I mean, my voice is. You can probably hear it's not quite recovered. So this might be the most talking I've done in 3 weeks. But that'll be fun.
With any luck, it'll be gone by the time the podcast ends.
Fuck you. We're being down to 2. Also isn't great for anyone really, because I didn't watch Saturday and I ain't caught up with it properly yet. I know what happens. So listening in, basically, it's good news for the listeners because they're getting a special episode of Greg tells Nate what happened.
I don't know if that's special or good, or if imagine the Stevenage fans who didn't go to the game on Saturday and thought, you know what, don't worry, Boropod will have me covered. They'll tell me all about the game. Then they're now relying on my memory of how the game played out, which, yeah, doesn't feel like it's the right way to do it. But I'll give it the best shot.
I can hold your hand for it, and we can get there sort of slowly. First thing though, I am gonna have to ask you to talk about the formation because I ain't got a Scooby.
So it was 3 at the back with Jordan Roberts playing almost like a wing back without any of the defensive responsibilities. So it was. I must admit, when I first saw the lineup, I thought it was gonna be 4. I was like, okay, we're definitely going 4 at the back. But it felt more of a 3 with Lufa as a wing back and Roberts as a wing back.
Okay.
Which Rev seemed happy with at the end of the game. Actually, he seemed like
the
quote was Roberts making that position his own, which
after 90 minutes.
Yeah, which I didn't think I'd see the day that Jordan Roberts was our go-to left wing back. But there you go.
No, but it sounds like he had a good game by all accounts.
He was excellent. Yeah.
The stats certainly back up that he's had a good game. So it's almost a situation of, well, if that's the only way you're going to get him in the team, crack on.
Yeah, by the way, first half, no one had a good game. First half was absolutely abysmal in every sense of the word. Couldn't get going. I think we did a decent enough job of keeping Reading at bay. They didn't really do a great deal either, but I think the referee added 6 minutes, maybe. I think it was at half time, and I was very close to booing that decision just purely on the basis that I wanted that half to be over, because it was just abysmal, just really, really dull.
Where did he find 6 minutes?
There was one. Well, there was Randall Williams went down injured off the pitch and then rolled himself onto the pitch.
Of course, he rolled on.
He was subbed off, wasn't he? Yeah. So he was down for a few minutes, I would say. I'm trying to think if there was any other major stoppages. I must admit, I thought 6 minutes was. I was more pissed off of it because I was just like, mate, we've just watched 45 minutes of this dross. You really want to sit us through another 6 minutes of it? I think there might have been another couple of stoppages, but nothing really that crazy. And Randall Williams should never have been a stoppage. He wasn't, as I said, he wasn't even on the pitch. So that was a bit frustrating at the time. And the North Stand gave him pelters, even though he eventually got substituted. So, but first half was just a bit, I don't know, just didn't really get going. He had a couple of efforts from distance. Phillips had one blazed over. Matt Phillips, that is. Reed, I think it was, had one who went straight down the keeper's throat. But other than that, didn't ever really look like threatening, didn't ever look like scoring, but nor did Reading really. So it was one of those halves that both teams kind of cancelled each other out. I'm just glad the second half was head and shoulders above that.
Yeah, I mean, so my grasp on it is it looks like we had slightly more of the ball. They had an extra shot. Both teams only managed one on target, and neither seemed particularly like a big opportunity. If I look at sort of the stats, Roberts looks like he played well first half. Pidge played fine first half. Wilding played fine first half. Everybody else was just sort of there. But if we look at the Reading stats, O'Connor was sort of awake for them, and then no one else was really doing much.
It was a really frustrating. We had 3 centre midfielders on the pitch in Phillips, White, and Thompson, and the game just completely bypassed them in that first half. There was Harvey picked up the ball a couple of times in a deep position, and then just kind of went back to a centre back who then went along. And it just felt like when you're playing 3 centre midfielders in the middle of the park, you kind of want to be bossing that middle area, and we just weren't. And Reading we're not exactly kind of doing a great deal themselves, but it just kind of became a little bit direct, not really too much of a game plan behind that. But I tweeted this on Saturday, I think it was Saturday night. You kind of, the credit I have to give Revs and this coaching staff for the turnaround in the second half, the instructions, the tactical changes to eventually then absolutely dominate that second half. And even though the scoreline was only 1-0, it could have been a lot more if we'd just been a little bit more clinical.
We had 11 shots in the second half, 3 on target, 7 off.
Yeah.
In this, if we're looking at the stats, there is a big swing in the momentum of the game, which was fairly even. Although it does sound like we edged the game, but in the second half, our possession raised 7% to 60. Well, nearly 8% to 61% possession. Pass success rate jumped up from like 53 to 62, and that seems to be the big part in what we did better was that our passes were finding Stevenage players more often, whereas Reading didn't seem to be. Obviously, then the change on 69 minutes, Kemp on for Louis Thompson, which saw, I presume, Dan Phillips slot back into centre mid, and Kemp took his old familiar.
They kind of changed it at half time, and I was actually, when the sub was being made, I was a little bit annoyed that Louis Thompson came off because I thought he was having his best spell in the game, and what he was kind of doing was playing in that right channel and supporting Lufa quite well. Not as a right winger necessarily, kind of just more as a channel midfielder,
like a wide midfielder,
and kind of going out and supporting. And he was having his best spell in the game, like I said, and I think he'd made some really good runs down that right-hand side. He was putting decent crosses in the box, and in fact, Roberts on the other side was also putting some really, really good crosses in the box, and it was just testing Reading a lot more, even though it didn't always come to anything necessarily. We weren't winning the chances in the middle, but it just felt like the goal was coming. So I was a bit frustrated that Thompson came off initially, but when Kemp came on and he kind of had this free roaming role to just go and cause havoc, something we've not seen enough from him this year. He was outstanding when he came on and deservedly got his goal. But that's the Dan Kemp you want to see playing week in, week out. If we can get any level of consistency to him doing that between now and
we haven't had that all season, have we? I mean, he up until he got that renewed contract, he was fine. He'd have a bad game here and there, and he'd have a couple of decent games, and you'd be like, yeah, okay, I mean, fine. But since he had that new contract and had that little stint out before Christmas, he's just been hardly played, and when he does play, he's been poor, hasn't he?
We said last week that he's kind of fallen foul to the change of system, where they've not been able to get him into a position where he can kind of showcase what we know and love about Dan Kemp in the new kind of 3-5-2 system. Just hasn't really suited him, because I think when he plays in the middle in that system, he ends up just not being able to be that free rolling sort of number 10 that you want him to be. And I think because the system, even though it kind of was the same because you had Roberts pushing up, playing more like a winger than a wing back, which did mean that Freestone was moving across a lot and more or less playing as a left back at times. He didn't ever feel like they never put like a 2-on-1 against him, so it was never a case of Roberts isn't going to support defensively that often anyway. To be honest, even if he's playing on the wing, but it did then give Kemp that opportunity to go and roam and pick up these positions and space where you can go and cause havoc. And his goal was exactly, was a perfect example of that, popping up on the right hand side and nice finish into the bottom corner. And yeah, like I said, if we can get Dan Kemp firing on all cylinders between now and the 2nd of May or whenever it is the season ends, I think we'll be there or thereabouts. But we've got to start seeing that level of consistency, and same with Roberts as well to a certain extent. We all know Jordan Roberts is the epitome of a player who blows hot and cold. That's why he's a League One player. But I think if we can get those two go on a bit of a run of form, I think it will be difficult to stop.
Excellent. Were you surprised with how poor Reading were?
I couldn't decide if they were poor or I think we just made them poor. I think in terms of the way that we kind of stopped everything that they had at sort of like Lewis Wing's one of the best centre midfielders in this division. I forgot he was even on the pitch most of the time. He just didn't seem to have any kind of time or space on the ball. I thought Matty Phillips was blowing fumes at the end of the game, but he was someone who absolutely put a hell of a shift in. Reedy as well, probably one of the best games I've seen from Jamie Reid in a while. Didn't get his goal.
See, overall, their score, their ratings are 6.4 and 6.3.
Reid and Phillips.
Yeah, but I suppose pressing is a very difficult thing to quantify and score, isn't it? Because you don't get any benefit, you don't get any praise as the player that's caused like maybe a unforced error, which is just a long ball out for a throw in.
I thought Reedy put in a lot of work in terms, like, yes, he didn't look a massive goal threat. Nice layoff for Kemp for his goal, but I thought he did well actually there to kind of pick that pass out. Yeah, there was a couple of times when he had the ball in the box that he just couldn't seem to get his shot away. But I thought he put a hell of a lot of effort in for the team, and that's something.
I mean, we can't see. Yeah, I mean, we can't see things that's like distance covered and stuff. But the stat lines. It does sort of read as if he's had a quiet day. 2 shots, 1 target, 1 off. 3% total possession, which is a total of. I'll have a look at how many touches it was in a minute. But pass success rate of 83%. 18 passes in total, 15 are accurate, 2 of them being key. Obviously, he was the one in the box causing the chaos that Kemp capitalised on, wasn't he?
Yeah, and the first half, no one played well. So you're talking 45 minutes of football in everything really that you're talking about. There was a lot of the first half in particular. There was a lot of balls kind of played up to him that he wasn't able to necessarily keep his stick to him, because that's not really his game. Let's be honest, he's not that target man. So, but in the second half, I felt he was more of a nuisance, and he was putting in a hell of a shift. And yeah, all right, didn't necessarily go and carve out loads and loads of chances or have opportunities to go and put the ball in the back of the net, which is what realistically those sort of scores get massively dictated by, to be honest with you, unless your name's Carl Piergianni and you're guaranteed to get 8 or plus every week, it feels like.
Did you get man of the match?
I can't remember who did. Oh no, was it Phillips? I can't remember who they gave it to.
Phillips is an interesting shout.
Was it Phillips? I can't remember.
Luther gets it on who scored.
Okay. I don't think it was Luther. I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
Luther had a really good game. Loads of possession, loads of passes. 50.
Yeah, Luther was solid. For me. Luther was very much what you expect to see from Luther. Classic 7 out of 10 performance.
Doesn't sound like he had too much to deal with Williams and Dorset, and then who was it? Paddy Lane that came on.
No, they very much, the only threat they kind of showed was probably in the first half, the big lad up front, Big Kelvin, can never say his surname.
Hibachiman.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Hibachiman. I googled it before we started.
He had a couple of moments in the first half where he looked like he was going to be a bit of a nuisance, and with how we've dealt with things in the air in recent weeks, I was a bit fearful of that. But then it kind of they just didn't even look a threat at all. Him or is it Will Keane there up front as well before he got hooked off. Yeah, it was quite an easy game really, and at no point even at the end in the last 10 minutes, if you think about the amount of games where we've got a goal up at home and then it's just been backs to the wall, it was really weird. I think I always stand down in the corner between the north and the west right at the end of the game, and I was looking and I was like, okay, it's like 91st minute, and I didn't feel any level of threat from Reading whatsoever. I didn't have this. Classic me would sit there thinking we're going to concede at some point.
Yeah,
it didn't feel like that at any point. Dan Phillips did what Dan Phillips does best in the corner.
Gets the ball in the corner,
gets the ball in the corner, and just basically makes himself as big as possible to keep it there for as long as he can. Then gets booked right at the end as well, which was again classic Dan Phillips style. But I just thought we were well in control of the game, and 1-0 probably flattered them, to be honest with you. If we'd been a bit more clinical and created a bit more, it would be nice to
hear.
Yeah, we just got to try. I mean, look, I'll take a 1-0 win every week, but there is at some point you have got to try and be a bit more clinical and score more goals. And I think Albie said this last week as well when we were on the pod. Like, we are overdue a comfortable 3-4-0 win. At some point, it will click and it will come, I'm sure. But there's a hell of a run in to come. There's some tough games in there.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can get one.
Yeah. Okay, look, I mean, I'm sure if there were 2 or 3 more of us, we could flog this horse until it was well and truly dead. But I ain't seen it, and we've covered it pretty well, I think. Unless I'm missing anything, obviously I weren't there.
No, like I said, there was nothing really else to that. The first half was such a poor half of football. I'm glad not to have to talk about it. So happy to move on.
Yeah, but one thing I'm going to do quickly, just before we do move on, ironically, is that I do like, from what I read, I do like the fact that we seem to respond to the changes Rev's made with things at half time. And it seems like we happened to come out and step up where Reading happened to come out and crack on with being mediocre.
Yeah, like I said, half time, I massive amount of credit to Revs for the changes, and I think we had this the other week when half time he pushed up Phillips into the 10. I can't remember who we were playing against. Oh, Stockport, wasn't it? It was against Norwood.
Yeah.
It kind of felt similar to that, but I loved what we did in terms of sort of giving Louis Thompson a bit more of an opportunity to go and do something with the ball, which then I think helped Kemp when he came on as well. But I just thought the adjustments that they'd made was outstanding. Getting crosses in the box, something I've always criticised us for, that we just don't get enough crosses in the box.
No, we definitely don't.
So many times that we were causing them problems, and like I said, we weren't clinical enough to put more than one goal in the back of the net. But in the end, that got the one that mattered, and getting the 3 points was the most important thing. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Right. Let's have a look. Look, we haven't got a game this weekend. So our next fixture is against Rotherham on New Year's. Not New Year's anything. Good Friday. So instead, let's have a look at. Let's just have a look generally at our run-in. And actually, what I'll do is we'll just go through the league table before we do that, because things have moved around a bit. So Port Vale now 4 points adrift of 4 points adrift of Northampton. They do have 3 games in hand on them, which is huge. Ooh. How funny would it be if John Brady takes Port Vale out of danger? I mean, they are 9 points off Exeter, also with 3 games in hand. So
interesting.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility that Port Vale might survive this season. And until this second, I was sure they were dead pretty much since like September.
I still think it'll be tough for them to come back from it.
It's a long fucking way, and it will be the most miraculous of escapes.
Yeah. What's their form like at the moment? Are they? Because I've not actually looked at this.
2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses in the last 6.
Okay.
Not honestly, they're not doing bad. They've got nearly a quarter of their wins in the last 6 games all season.
Interesting.
They are definitely doing better, and they're looking more likely to drag themselves out of trouble.
I think Brady's a good manager for that kind of job, right? If he's going to go and get an extra 10% out of players who are probably down in the dumps and not that good, he is definitely the sort of guy who's going to come in and do that, and whether it'll be enough or not.
Whether they escape or not, he's going to do a really good job there next summer as well. Next season,
yeah. If they get recruited,
and then when they bounce back up, they'll be rock bottom again, I'm sure.
Yeah, they do. I'm surprised how badly they did. I can't remember where I put them in pre-season.
No, but the thing is, it surprised. Yeah, a lot of people seemed a little bit surprised by it, and I don't really understand that because when they went down, sort of season before last, which was our first season up here, they were fucking abysmal, and they dropped. They dramatically went down bottom of the pile, I think it was, and they were real horseshit. So it's not that much of a surprise to me.
True. I think, they're 11 points, even with they've got to win those 3 games in hand, and then they've got a chance, which I just can't see them winning all 3. I don't know who they're playing in them, but so I think it'll be a tough ask. I think between
whoever it is they're playing against, they're all above them, aren't they? So
yeah, I think the bottom 3 as it stands right now, it's going to be a very tough ask for.
Yeah. So the other 2 in the bottom. Yeah, the other 2 in the bottom 3, obviously I said Northampton already, and then Rotherham are Good Friday opponents, so they're on 35 and 36 points. Then you've got Blackpool occupying that last spot, though they are level on points with Exeter, but they have a 7 worse goal difference, 17 against 10. Then you've got Wigan, who we also have to play on 19. We do play Blackpool as well before the end of the season, so that's 3 games against bottom 6 teams, which I don't know whether that's a good omen or a bad omen because they're fighting for their lives. All these teams.
I got two of those at home. I think Wigan at home,
Wigan and
Blackpool at home, Sorry, and then Rotherham away, isn't it?
Rotherham away, yeah.
We've still got Donny to play as well, haven't we?
We've still got Doncaster. So Burton are in 18th on 46 points. Donny 17th on 47 points, and you've got Orient who have won 4 on a bounce. Which they can thank us for being a sacrificial lamb to get that rolling.
Yeah, we've massively reignited their season, haven't we?
Fucking horrendous.
I said last week, like Richie Wellens was
they're 6 points clear,
absolutely dead when he was 1-0 down against us. He just looked like a broken man. It looked like he couldn't wait to be out of this job. And
then Alex Ravel's bunch of Mary Bellends decided to let him back in. We've saved his career. Anyway, Mansfield are in 15th on 49 points. AFC Wimbledon are 14th on 50 points. Barnsley are 50 points, and Peterborough are 50 points. Luton are 11th on 55 points. And these are the teams now that you think there's an outside chance. So between Luton, Wickham, Huddersfield, Reading, Plymouth, Stevenage, and Stockport, up to 5th. So 11th to 5th, there's 5 points covering everyone. You would assume, or I certainly would assume, I think Luton are out of it. I think 5 points at this stage of the season is a massive swing to hope that none of the other teams can capitalise on. Wickham, they're 4 points back in 10th on 56 points. Huddersfield are in 9th on 57 points. Reading in 8th on 58 points. Plymouth in 7th on 59 points. Stevenage is 6th with 60 points. Stockport are doing their best to throw it all away. They are on 60 points, but they do have 2 games in hand. We, at the moment, have 1, although this Saturday that will be bumped up to 2. Bradford are in 4th on 65 points. Bolton are in 3rd on 66 points. Cardiff on a second with 77 points, and then Lincoln. Not only have they clawed back what was, I think, at one point when they stepped up into second, there was like an 8-point deficit to Cardiff. They are now 7 points clear of Cardiff. I don't know the last time they lost.
Unbelievable job that they've done.
Absolutely incredible, and I really like to see it.
5 defeats all year, all season. That's crazy.
I really like to see it because I don't mind Lincoln. Their last defeat was 3-2 against Wickham on the 22nd of November.
Wow.
They've only drawn 5 times since then. Everything else has been a win. I think we won those draws, didn't we? I know we. No, they beat us. They beat us 1-0.
I think just on the playoff places, I think Stockport, kind of faltering a little bit, been in some rough form. Those games in hand are going to be huge for them if they can win one and draw. I don't think they'll be okay. I think I just can't see past. I said this last week. I can't see past Plymouth at the moment. I think they are coming along like a freight train. I know they've had. I think they've lost 1 of the last 5, maybe, or 6, but I think they are
one of the last 6.
Yeah, so they're just starting to click into gear now, and that is a very, very dangerous side. Even if I forget about Reading and how bad they looked on Saturday, they've been a bit more up and down. I think they've lost 2 of the last 6, 1-3, drawn 1.
They've been hot on. Reading have been hot on Plymouth's heels, sort of clawing themselves up the league. Both of them had shaky starts and have put a run together that's seen them slowly climb. Well, Plymouth a bit quicker, but
Plymouth have lost 16 games this season. Like being 39 games in and have lost 16 and are now, I would say, have to be favourites to be one of those playoff teams. I'm not sure what their running looks like,
I'd say so. Yeah,
I think they're definitely going to continue to be on that freight train that they've been on. I think whereas everyone else, like Luton, drawing way too many games. Wickham just keep losing games. They had some great wins, and the Cardiff win was very, very good for them, but really poor result at the weekend away to Warren.
Yeah, horrendous, wasn't it?
I know they had a red card early on. I was listening to Free Counties on the way home from the game, and Duff was lamenting just how bad the start was to the game. It just killed it for them. But I think they'll struggle to make it from there. I think if Luton were 5 points off playoffs and sitting 8th, I'd probably say they've got a chance. But the fact that there's so many teams in between them and the playoff places now, you're relying on so many teams slipping up multiple times. I think for them and Wickham, it's probably a step too far. I think they'll be very fortunate, that's for sure. And for us, I think it is down to, if we can win that game in hand, which I appreciate is Barnsley, I think, isn't it?
Barnsley, second last game of the season as well. So it's a long way. We've got to wait a long time to play that game in hand.
I think
after this weekend as well, we've also got Bolton, remember?
Correct.
There are a lot of cancellations this weekend. So the only games going ahead this weekend are Wickham, Port Vale, Stockport, AFC, Wimbledon. So that will act as a bit of a balance, won't it, between us and them?
That will basically make us both from 38,
Yeah, Reading, Wigan, Exeter, Orient, and Blackpool, Burton. So there aren't a lot of the teams at the top end of the table. Really, it's only Wickham and Stockport and Reading, sorry. Up the top end of the season. Doncaster, Port Vale is played tomorrow as well. I've just noticed. But
sorry, that's the other end of the table.
That's irrelevant, I know.
But I think
there's a lot of games. A lot of the teams around us are also going to have that extra sort of game in hand, really. So
if we can come out of this
fairly even,
if we can come out of this weekend and only have Reading only drawing. I'm not actually that fussed about Stockport as much. I think eventually they'll be comfortably there. What's going to be interesting is that Bradford aren't in the best form, Bolton aren't in the best form, and I actually don't think that they've played 39. With that game in hand, we could be 2 points off Bradford, like theoretically. So
at the moment, the form teams of the league are Lincoln with 16 points from the last 6, Plymouth with 13 points from the last 6, and then Orient and Stevenage with 12 points from the last 6. If you look if you look at the teams that are chasing the playoffs with us, Plymouth obviously have got 1 more point than us over the last 6. But then Reading is 7th with 10 points from 6. Bolton 9 points from 6. Wigan 9 points from 6. Luton 9 points from 6. Huddersfield 8 points from 6. Bradford 7 from 6. Stockport 7 from 6. So, you know, we are, without setting the world alight by any measure, we're kind of doing the things we want to, we need to do to really kick ourselves in the right direction at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say this in retrospect, obviously, but you do look back to just a few of those bad games we've had, like the Orient game in particular, even Plymouth the other week
there's a number of games. There's a number of games around October, November, December.
Yeah. There's that whole stretch, isn't there?
In that stretch where we were fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Where there's just no reason why we haven't. There's little reason why we haven't picked up 3 points. You know, the reason we haven't picked up 3 points is because our heads were gone and we just couldn't get things going, and we were fucking abysmal. But you know, we have to remember, you know, we won 17 games this season. We're on track for our best ever finish.
Oh yeah,
in the football league, and we've been sat here whining about it for most of the season, which is just bizarre, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, it's very difficult to complain about it, and I think there will be, you know, if we don't make the playoffs, there will definitely be some grumbles still. Like, it's just football fans don't have the patience nowadays. I think for me, it's more when I look back at some of those games. There's a number of home games this year that we just dropped 2 points in that just should never have dropped 2 points in. There was the Doncaster game at home back in November, which I remember they were terrible. We weren't great on the day and should have won it. Burton home game 2-2, I think it was. There's games like that. You just think those two, you win those two, you're 4 points better off. All of a sudden, you're a shoo-in for the playoffs. And that's the kind of thing that I know it's easy to look back in retrospect, but they're the sorts of things I do think about a lot. I'm not talking about, you know, oh, imagine if we won 5 games. Oh, of course, yeah. But I'm talking just a couple of games where we turn a point into 3 across the whole season, and all of a sudden, you know, we've got 64 points, and we're looking at Bradford and Bolton about, can we finish in third or fourth, not thinking about, you know, looking behind us. But yeah, it's just, I suppose that's part of the game at the end of the day. And I think it is an absolute miracle that we went through from, what was it, mid to end of October, all the way through to the new year almost, where it's really, really poor. And was it 1 win in 16 or whatever it was at one point?
Yeah,
to come through that and still be where we are now and still be on for our best ever finish and best ever points tally is, yeah, I mean, it's credit to Revel, credit to the players, because, you know, it could have gone a very, very different way if they hadn't turned that around.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look at that run, I mean, I don't think it's 1 in 16, but I think it's 3 in 16, which might as fucking well be 1 when you're trying to push for a playoff spot. The fact that we haven't fallen away after that run is fucking incredible.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
What a shit division this year.
It has been poor this year, and I think you've got to look at how
everyone's so inconsistent. Lincoln are the only team that have been consistent. I'm looking at the streaks, the streaks table on who scored. Lincoln, win or draw, 22 games. Can you guess who the next best is and what that figure is? So games without a loss. Current streaks, games without a loss.
Games without a loss. Bolton? They seem to draw a lot.
Mansfield with 6.
Really? Jesus.
Yep. Then Plymouth with 5. Luton, Orient, Doncaster with 4. Wigan with 3.
Wow.
Stockport, Peterborough, Blackpool with 2. And then Cardiff, Stevenage, AFC Wimbledon, Burton and Port Vale with 1.
Crazy.
If we look at the longest streaks without a loss, obviously Lincoln's 22 at the moment is the best. Then you've got Bolton with 13, Cardiff with 12, Rotherham, believe it or not, who are third bottom with 9.
Wow.
Mansfield with 8, Wycombe with 8, Stockport 7, Bradford 7, Huddersfield 7. That's really poor. That you've got 8 clubs there, and the best. A lot of them are doing 7 or 8 games without a loss.
I just think you've got Plymouth, Huddersfield, Luton, all teams that are still fighting for the playoffs.
Yeah,
they've lost 16 and 14 games between them. Like that's a lot of defeats to have, and I mean, I know I can't decide if it's really bad this year, the division, or if it's just more competitive. Like, kind of feel like it probably is the former, but I think like I know the top 2 have run away with it, and outside of that, it feels like a real fight. But
yeah,
there's some sides who will make the playoffs this year. I've no doubt that have had Plymouth had a horrendous spell at the start of the season. I think they did really well not to sack Cleverley, because I think he has turned it around for them massively. But then you've got teams like Huddersfield with the players they've got and the budget they have. Yeah, I was expecting way more from them this year. They've been really, really poor. Same with Luton to a certain extent.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll look at our running. So we've got Rotherham on Good Friday. We've got Blackpool on Easter Monday, which those 2 games back to back, away at Rotherham and at home against Blackpool, clubs in dire straits, shit teams in shit form. We need to be looking at 6 points over Easter. Like anything less than 6 points is going to be a fucking far. Well, maybe not a farce. That might be a bit harsh. It's not great though.
If you want to make the playoffs, you have to get 6 points from those games.
Yeah,
I said last week Saturday was must win. I'm not saying that if you get 4 points from those 2 games, that it's absolute disaster. But if you have serious ambitions, knowing that you've got Bolton still to play, you've got Lincoln still to play. Who else have we got? Who are up there? Bradford away, I think, as well.
Well, so straight after those 2, you've got Bradford away, Bolton away, and Lincoln at home.
Yeah, those 3
that's
games.
3
tough.
That's 3 games that aren't going to be fun for anyone. Bradford might not be in the best form, but we never seem to do very well against Bradford.
No, I can't remember the last time we went up there.
It's going to be a struggle. Bolton feels a bit like it's going to be a throw. You can toss a coin. It's almost, it could be either or. But being away from home, we'll do very well to win there. But you definitely, again, all 3 of these, you take a draw, wouldn't you? Really?
You have to. I mean, I think you need to be getting at least 1 win and 2 draws from those games, and I think.
I think you can get 3. I think you can take 3. I think you can take 3 draws from those, as long as you don't. I mean, from here on in, I think if we lose a game, that might be us toast, unless it's against Lincoln.
If you win both games over Easter, if you win both games over Easter, I think you can then afford to drop some points in those games. But I still think you've then got Barnsley and Doncaster before Wigan to finish the season. I mean, that's a massive run of games that over a 15-day period, pretty much. You've got, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. That's going to be a hell of a run, like, depending on how many players can stay fit for them. So that Barnsley game is not exactly going to be easy. And then, Doncaster away, they're not been great this year, but away from home, it's never easy. So I think you win both over Easter, which is not going to be easy. But if you did, then I think you could come away with 4 points from those games.
I think you come away. I think 3 points is fine. You want more, but 3 points is fine.
Very much depends what's going on around as well. Like, if all the other teams,
look, the other teams around us, they're all going to drop points here and there.
Yeah, of course.
All of them. And they're all perhaps with the exception of Plymouth, who don't seem to be losing games at the moment. Not too much, at least. I think their running looks a little bit better, kinder than ours as well. We'll have a look in a sec. But I think I've at the moment, I know they battered us at their gaff, but I think we can do Barnsley. I'm confident we can do Doncaster even away, and I'm confident we can do Wigan. Lincoln and Bolton are the only team. Well, again, like I said, Bolton's a bit of a toss up, and we don't historically do well at Bradford, but they're also in bad form. I think we can get results against most of these lot, but we have to use Saturday as a real launch point, as a real sort of linchpin in the season, and go more of this, which we've historically struggled to do.
I think because we've got Bradford and then Bolton, both away from home, both at 3 days within each other.
3 days.
They're definitely the two kind of games you can just imagine going up there and thinking, right, well, lads, we'll take a point, we'll keep it tight, not be too expansive, and try and get draws.
Yeah,
I think that'd be quite dangerous to do when you then got Lincoln following, because
I think
one of the best sides, not one of the best sides in the league.
I think it's dangerous to do anyway, because if you do that against those two teams, they probably will punish you for it.
Kind of felt like how the Plymouth game was to a certain extent. I'm not saying I thought we were on top in the first half, but I felt like it was at some point. It kind of felt like
I don't think either side were on top of the first half. That first half against Plymouth, neither team had
more chances than them.
Oh, but they were all shit chances. Like I just thought it was 45 minutes of horse shit. And Plymouth were the team that came out in the second half and made things happen. It was very polar opposite to Reading, basically.
Yeah, no, I mean, we had that absolute gilt edge chance from Reed, which should have been scored, as we said about last week. But
fucking abysmal.
But I think, look, I mean, getting through Easter with 6 points, which is going to be a tough challenge in itself. But if you come through that, it takes a bit of the pressure off. But I still think you've got to try and win one of those games. Ideally, if you can beat Bradford away, if they're still going on a bit of a sticky patch, it just takes so much pressure off of both Bolton and Lincoln, because you can go into those two games not with we just hold out for a point here and hope for the best. You kind of want that Bolton game to be a bit of a free hit. Tuesday night, middle of April.
And I mean, if being at home, if we can take anything from Lincoln, fucking delighted.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Lincoln game, I think my only hope is that they'll be up by then. I'm not sure they'll be champions by then, but I think they'll definitely be up.
They're gonna be up in a game or two.
Yeah, exactly. But depending on how it goes, they're 7 points clear now.
7 points.
They could be champions, or not far off champions by that point anyway, if they carry on the form they're in at the moment. Because Cardiff will. How many games
do we play in this league?
46.
Right, so there's seven games remaining, and they've got 18 points over Bolton.
Oh yeah, well they're pretty much next week then.
Yeah, exactly. Good Friday, basically. They could be promoted.
They're 7 points clear of Cardiff. This is the fourth to last game of the season, or was it third? It's fourth for us, third for them, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, they could be.
They could be crowned.
It could be, yeah. But anyway, we'll see how it pans out. But I think you want the Bolton Lincoln game. You don't want to go in with pressure on those games, which I think is why if you can pick up those three wins in a row, sounds ridiculous to say, but if you can pick up 3 wins in a row from Rotherham to Bradford, then the whole pressure is just alleviated.
I mean, if we do that, we're going to be comfortably inside the playoffs, and we're going to be going right now. We really need to hang on to this rather than can we close the gap, because if we don't get all those wins, Plymouth will get wins.
And I don't think we'll
get points.
I don't think we'll be consistent enough to win 3 games on the bounce. But
if you look at Plymouth's run-in, Bradford, which was supposed to be on Saturday, is postponed. It doesn't look like that's actually got a date yet, but you would imagine that'll be the same. That'll be the same date we play Barnsley, which is the 21st. So, but they're running their next run from Good Friday is Bolton, home at Bolton, away at Barnsley. Then they've got Exeter, AFC, Wimbledon, Port Vale, and Northampton.
Yeah,
that's a tidy run of that last 4 are all teams in the bottom right.
I just can't see past them at the moment. I think
form
wise, and also if you're playing them in the playoffs, you're going to hate that because the form they've been in has just been unbelievable. They've got hot at the right time, and I think our hope more is that Stockport drop points. They don't do a lot with their games in hand, and that because they've been a bit more inconsistent.
Who out of the 4 that, I mean, let's say Bolton, Bradford, Plymouth, Stevenage is the playoff 4. Who do you want out of that? Bradford, right?
Currently, yeah. I mean, it depends how they finish the season because there's still quite a few games to go, right? 7 games to go, whatever it is. So,
if the thing is, even if they're out of form right now, whoever makes that final that 4 that go into the playoffs, they're there because over 46 games they've deserved to be there.
Yeah,
no bad teams make the playoffs, do they? So
no.
So you start to go, no matter who it is, it's going to be a tough game. But also, we're also there. So whoever we play has got a tough game. Or you hope it's going to have a tough game.
I don't like any of those sides away from home, particularly. I think we don't have great records at any of those teams away from home. But
it's difficult. We have to hope that we're gonna pinch them to the point where we can nick a 0-0 or a 1-1 away from home and then hope for a 1-0 at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically the opposite of what happened against Sheffield United.
Yeah, because I think it's going to be one of those. Like, the playoffs is a bit of a lottery at times, anyway. But I think, the way I see it is, I don't think anyone's going to want to play us really. I think we are a side that.
I don't know. I think they're all going to want to play us.
Well, I don't think any manager is going to want it. It's going to sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, I'll definitely take Stevenage out of any of them that are currently chasing."
Not publicly.
Maybe not publicly, but I don't think there will be. I think that we're not a fun side to play against sometimes. Anyway.
No.
So I think it's going to be interesting to see what their opinions would be. But I think, like if you said it was Plymouth, I would definitely not fancy, just purely the form they've been in. Stockport.
Guess
anyone.
Yeah. Guess who's going to be in the air on the playoff final date?
Where are you off to?
I'll be flying to Florence.
Very nice.
Actually, while the playoff final is happening, I'm going to be sat watching Fiorentina maybe get relegated.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So I will be sat in the stadium watching that, but I will have Stevenage in the playoff final on my phone.
I'm keeping it free for the time being, on the little hope that I have that we might actually get there. But
I'm definitely disappointed with myself.
I think it was probably probably a safe bet when you booked it back in like November.
I booked it like last June.
Oh, did you? Okay, probably a safe bet then as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's still, it's the sort of thing that rightly punishes idiots that don't check, isn't it?
I don't think I would have checked, but who knows? You never know.
Right. Well, that's more or less us. There's nothing really more to talk about other than the big news is that there's a player that could apparently help our promotion push that's just become available. Bruno Andrade.
I was going to say, I was waiting for you to ask me at the beginning of the episode, how's your weekend? And I was going to say better than Bruno Andrade's, but EFL talent.
He strangled a teammate of his.
Oh, was it strangled, was it?
Yeah, he had his hands literally around his throat and was like fucking throttling him. Yeah.
Did he step over them? Or I honestly cannot stand Bruno Andrade, so seeing that did give me a nice rise.
I'll tell you one thing that I did like is seeing Stevenage fans unite against that absolute clown who suggested he was EFL quality still and he should come back to Stevenage.
Yeah, he didn't have a name, that guy, did he?
Stevenage Hat on Twitter, he is.
Yeah.
Twitter's down at the moment, but if you want to go and have a laugh at someone, find Stevenage Hat, and go and have a laugh at him for suggesting that Andrade should come back. Absolutely insane. Anyway.
Didn't realise he was at Rushton, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, the last I knew he was in Baller League, and he found his level though at that sort of that National League South level, North maybe Rushton.
I think they're like 2 or 3 steps down from that, aren't they?
Are they? Yeah, I mean, maybe, probably. It wouldn't be a surprise. He'd be considered fast there, wouldn't he? Anyway, there's enough talking about that absolute rim job. Any other business?
No, absolutely nothing. I'm looking forward to my weekend off. Not having a game to worry about is going to be quite nice.
Yeah,
we've got results go away.
We had friends visiting last weekend, and we got different friends visiting this weekend. So it's quite nice that I'm not going to be like on my phone looking at the score every 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. I'll still be doing that, just not our score, obviously.
If we're not playing, I can actually switch off and like come to about 6:30 and be like, oh fuck, football happened today. What happened? Let me go and have a look.
Curiosity will get the better of me at some point.
Fair enough. Anyway, I think we've done incredibly well, Greg, to push this to an hour long.
Yeah, we've padded this out.
Nearly an hour. So yeah, let's call it a night. Thank you everybody for listening. I'm sorry that there have been no quizzes for the last 3 weeks. It's appalling. It's definitely the best part of the show.
You play 501 to yourself if you want.
And now that I'm back, and hopefully next week we'll have a full roster of dickheads. We can play some games and be silly and have a laugh. It was nice. It's always nice to lighten the mood. Not that it needed it today, but it's always nice to lighten the mood in the middle of the show with a little quiz and just have a dick around, isn't it?
I've got an idea of a good game, so I'll try and bring that along with me next time.
Yeah, I've been looking at the moment, and I keep looking at trying to do Jeopardy. The problem is, for a club that's only like 50 years old this year, nothing's really happened to do a full like round of Jeopardy. So it might have to be League One season Jeopardy, maybe.
We have to talk about this 50-year anniversary at some point, because I really, really hope we do not spoil it by
it's going to be
shit shirt out, or
it's going to be so bungled. It's going to be so bungled, isn't it? We're gonna do a vintage like 50-year-old kit, and it's just going to be solid white. It's going to be so boring.
I really hope they thought about this for the last 2 years, and they've got amazing plans in place, but I just know they haven't. So I'm fully expecting it to be spoiled.
And the great thing is that they're not going to ask fans what we want.
No.
Phil says he's got ideas and that there's loads planned.
There is a fans forum next week.
There is a fans forum.
31st, isn't it?
Right, fuckers are going to that. People listening, if you go in, get on him. Make sure we impress on him that we need a good fucking kit for once. Actually, I don't mind this season's kit, but it's not exciting, is it? We need a good, exciting kit. It needs to not be horrible. None of this fucking like ketchup and mustard bollocks that we've had.
Ideally not Macron, but I appreciate that might be a tough ask.
Bag nonsense behind me. Like clean, good-looking kits. We need events. We need shit happening to market. Like it needs. We need to throw everything at this. We really do. And if we happen to be in the championship, we need to milk it for every fucking penny. We need to really go for it. God, it's bad, isn't it?
Yeah, please just give me a nice commemorative 50-year shirt, something that I'm not going to sit there and think, I don't want to wear that, or I don't want to look at that. Just something good.
What was our first kit? There's a Stevenage kit archive, isn't there?
There is, yeah. I mean, he hates stripes, so it's not going to be anything stripes related.
Yeah.
And we did the 96 shirt when we had Darren Sahl as manager, didn't we? We did and then obviously we did the 98 to 2000, the year that got promoted. So it's not going to be anything like that.
Historical football kits. Our first kit is red and white horizontal stripes.
Yeah, see, I think that's very close to kind of what we had in, like, was it 98 or whatever it was, 97, 98, which like I said, we only did when we had Carbrini, I think it was. Was it? Yeah. It was the year that Darren Sahl was manager, I'm pretty sure.
It was Carbrini.
It's not really
it was Feeler the year before as well, actually.
What I want is the conference win in 1996 when we had red and white stripes, and we had an away shirt which was blue and white stripes, exactly the same kit, just blue and white stripes. That just give me that shirt again.
Nice.
With Van den El as the sponsor, not Van den El, with Sunbank as the sponsor. Even though I'm not sure, are they still going? I have no idea.
I don't think Xolo will allow that somehow.
Just put a QR code.
I think it was Sunbank. It was Sunbank, but it was the diagonals, and we've done that, haven't we?
We did that, yeah.
We did that in
red and white stripes,
2016.
94 to 96 shirt.
It's got to be a classic. Well, I mean, I'd even take like a reimagined, like conference winning 2010 kit. Well, that's a bit dull.
Although that would, not the new Xolo, that actually would work. Just having that 2010 shirt with Xolo's current sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
That would actually work, because that's similar to, was it LCN or whatever it's called?
No, I think that was the first season back in the football league.
It was, yeah. Sorry, you're right. That
was Mega Man.
Mega Man, yeah. But even that first year in the football league, when we had that LCN thing, it's like the same sort of box that Xolo had, so that would actually work. But no, that's a bit too.
There's plenty of good kits from back then that are not too awful. There's a 94 to 96 Pro Pack with like the red and white things, but then there's like thin stripes in the middle and on the sleeves as well. That's all right.
The navy and yellow away shirt from the 90s. I can't remember what year it was. They did the retro version of it.
I would love. There's a blue and white one. There's a blue and white one where it's like bars, and they sort of like, and it fades in and out of blue and white, weird, and it's like.
Is that the one like Cambridge ended up doing, and not long after?
It might have been, yeah.
Which really pissed me off, because I loved that shirt when we had it.
But I really like
Cambridge did their own version of it, and I was like,
I really like that shirt. That would be lovely. That'd be lovely to see.
To be fair, I'm all for
it.
Happen. Just give us something, please.
Yeah.
Whoever goes next week, push for the 50 year.
And it's got to be like a classic badge on the shirt as well next year.
Yeah, it's got to be the old badge.
It's got to be the old badge. We can't have this round piece of shit next season.
Rename back to Stevenage Borough just for a year.
I don't even hate. Do you know what? I genuinely don't even hate our badge. Like, as round badges go, it's not bad. Like, I don't even mind the deer that people seem to hate in the middle. But it's nothing on the shield. It's nothing on that.
No.
I mean, the shield is god awful, but like, it's brilliant.
Is it Fulham that have had their away shirt with the old Fulham badge? I wouldn't even mind that. I don't like, if you're going to do a special shirt.
There's loads of them, mate. There's loads of clubs that have had like throwback badges on for the whole season on certain kits.
Yeah, Stoke do the same this year, I think, as well. I think they did the same on their one.
Anyway, we really have pushed this past to an hour now, so let's fuck it off.
It's the most interesting part of the conversation.
Phil, I know you're not listening, but fucking do it. Talk to us. We've got ideas. Fucking talk to us. Fuck. Maybe we should hammer Drakkers and get the supporters association big on it.
Need to speak to Lewis. Surely Lewis has got to be involved in something like this.
God, he's at the least in the building, isn't he?
Exactly. Yeah.
He's a DJ these days, although he gets told what to play. But anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. Fucking hell, we are rubbing. Hope you have a good week, and we might be on next week because there might be news happening.
Ooh, teaser.
I don't know if I was supposed to say even that much. So
this ain't making the cut, is it?
Well, this has gone out live.
That's true. Sorry, I'm sure there's no one watching by now. Everyone would have logged off by now.
22 people apparently, or at least there was. But yeah. So we might be about next week for a short show because there's not really any football to talk about that's worth talking about because most of the games are cancelled. Although we may talk a little bit about it if we happen to be recording. I'm just waffling now. See you later, everybody. Up the borough.
Bye, up the borough.
You're not wooing.
I'm not wooing. I'm not Pat. Save the woos for Pat.